Bye bye, chauffeur. We've been dropped. We did have big plans to go out to the Dales today, but you see that grey fog in the distance? That's the Dales. So we stayed a bit closer to home. We've come up towards Skipton, and there's this really nice track. It's an old Roman road, apparently. Obviously been resurfaced since then. That leads along the ridge here and over to Skipton. I don't think we've videoed it before, but anyway, it's just me and Mr. Moo, and we're going to meet our chauffeur for the other end because he's got work to do today. And to be honest, it's not the best morning, but I'm sure we'll have some fun. Right, well, here we go. I'd say it's atmospheric more than pleasant, but we're walking. It's Monday. It's fresh air. We know that spring is out there somewhere. Somewhere. That's the curlews. If the curlews are here, it's got to be spring. Can you hear that? Well, Monty's quite enjoying this, but I have to say, I have to admit, this is probably one of our more miserable walks. It's actually cold and it's surprisingly wet, and that's our view. Ugh, it's not getting much cheerier. And please, I've got my woolly hat on. Oh dear, it's raining hard now. Well, we are pretty much wet through. Monty's got quite significant muddy boots on, but thankfully there is Skipton appearing from the gloom, where our chauffeur is going to meet us, and we'll be pretty glad to get in the car, I think. Brr. So despite the conditions, which have improved a little bit, we've decided to have a little adventure. So we've come off the main trail there. We're going to follow this little track, which sort of goes up onto more open moorland. I've always wondered where these little tracks go. I'm sure we can loop back round. Monty is already exploring. So the detour just led us up onto this bit of wild moor. Quite nice views back over Skipton, if you can see it down there in the mist. Now we've just got to find our way back to the track that takes us down. So we made it back to the main track, just had to climb one wall. It's much nicer now. Feels almost warm. I'm just walking down this lovely row of trees that lead us down to the steep track that drops us into Skipton. We've just taken another mini detour off the track. We saw a little footpath coming up here to a seat. There's a nice seat just there. Monty's decided he wants to sit right here and survey the scene. The rain is holding off, which is good. We're sort of drying out a bit now. So this is our property of the week. This is what was the chapel of the Hospitallers. I rather fancy it, and particularly the house next door looks ripe for renovation. And if you were feeling really keen, you could also go further and do up the pub. You'd have a nice little row. Something to think on. We're off now to meet our chauffeur and go back home.